Every crime hides a story. Every story hides a truth. Welcome to The Watcher, where we uncover the mysteries others look away from. The smell was the first thing that hit them. It clung to the air like a rotting secret, heavy and undeniable, the kind of stench that no air freshener or open window could hide. On a sweltering July morning in 2019, officers from the Metro Police Department forced open the door of a two-bedroom apartment on the corner of 8th and Halloway, deep in the heart of Brookdale City. Inside, what they found would shock the entire community and later the nation. 3 bodies lay on the floor of the living room, carefully arranged in a triangle. Their arms were crossed over their chests, as though posed in some grim parody of a ritual. The apartment was spotless, except for the victims and the blood that seeped from beneath their carefully positioned frames. Detective Aaron Mitchell, a 10-year veteran, staggered back and muttered, "Jesus Christ, what kind of monster does this?" This was no ordinary homicide. This was the beginning of a nightmare. To the public, the 3 bodies were statistics. But to their families, they were everything. Angela Brooks, 27, a nurse who worked double shifts at Brookdale General Hospital. Known for her smile and for buying snacks for her patients' children when families couldn't afford them. She disappeared after leaving a late shift, never making it home. Jordan Ellis, 19, a college freshman studying architecture. His mother said he had sketches of skyscrapers in his veins. He vanished walking home from a study group, his notebook left behind on a library table. Maria Santos, 33, a single mother of 2 juggling work at a diner while studying for a degree in social work. She went missing after her evening shift, her phone later found abandoned in a bus stop trash can. They were from different walks of life, yet here they were, bound together in death. Her name was Selena Marquez, a 38-year-old woman who lived just 6 blocks from where the bodies were found. Neighbors described her as kind, quiet, and helpful. She was known for watering plants for elderly tenants and offering to babysit when someone needed help. She blended so seamlessly into the background of Brookdale that few remembered details about her. But beneath her soft-spoken demeanor, investigators would later discover a chilling darkness. Selena worked part-time at a thrift shop, lived alone, and seemed perpetually underemployed. She claimed to be pursuing a degree in psychology, though no university had her on record. And yet, somehow she was always nearby when tragedy struck. The killings had not started in July. They had begun much earlier. 2017, 2 missing women, both last seen near Brookdale Transit Station. Their cases went cold with little evidence and no leads. 2018, a rash of disappearances. A high school senior, a taxi driver, and a local artist. Each case was isolated, but detectives later noted eerie similarities. Phones abandoned, bodies never recovered. Early 2019, rumors spread of a predator in Brookdale. Residents whispered about the Phantom of 8th Street, though police insisted there was no evidence linking the disappearances. July 2019, the discovery of the 3 bodies in Selena's apartment changed everything. 4 years, she had moved like a shadow through the city, taking victims no one connected. It wasn't until the bodies were staged in her own home that the city began to realize the scale of her crimes. Detectives Mitchell and Clara Jensen led the case. What they found would piece together a chilling portrait. Forensic evidence. Fibers from Selena's thrift store apron were found embedded in Angela's clothing. DNA under Maria's fingernails matched Selena. Digital footprints. Selena's laptop contained hundreds of searches about serial killers, body disposal, and forensic countermeasures. One search stood out. How long does it take for neighbors to smell a body? Witness testimony. A teenage girl who barely escaped an attempted abduction in 2018 described her attacker as a calm, smiling woman with kind eyes. She never thought anyone would believe her, until she saw Selena's face on the evening news. The evidence was undeniable. But still questions lingered. Why had Selena killed? What drove her? Investigators dug into her past. Selena had grown up in poverty, her childhood marred by abuse and neglect. Teachers described her as a bright but withdrawn student. She often disappeared into books about psychology and human behavior, fascinated by what made people tick. But trauma left its scars. Friends recalled disturbing comments she made in her 20s, joking about wanting to know what it feels like to take total control of someone. Psychologists later diagnosed her with antisocial personality disorder, noting her lack of empathy and manipulative tendencies. Yet even with this knowledge, no one could fully explain why she escalated from fantasy to murder. When questioned, Selena was eerily calm. Detective Jensen remembered her composure. She didn't flinch. didn't sweat. It was like she was reading us, not the other way around. She denied involvement, claiming she had been framed. But her alibis fell apart under scrutiny. GPS data placed her near multiple disappearance sites. Witnesses recalled seeing her with victims shortly before they vanished. Her contradictions mounted. She said she didn't own a car, yet security footage caught her driving a red sedan linked to 2 crime scenes. She claimed she barely used the internet, but her laptop was a library of obsession. She insisted she never met the victims, but one survivor remembered her perfume. Bit by bit, her lies collapsed. The trial of Selena Marquez in 2021 was a national spectacle. Prosecutors painted her as a calculating predator who chose victims at random, thriving on the city's fear. They displayed crime scene photos, forensic reports, and chilling excerpts from her journal, where she wrote about perfecting the art of silence. The defense argued insanity, pointing to her abusive past and mental health struggles. They claimed she was not in control of her actions. But the jury didn't buy it. After 6 weeks of testimony, they returned a unanimous verdict: guilty on 12 counts of murder. Selena showed no emotion as she was sentenced to life without parole. Brookdale City struggled to move on. Memorials were erected for the victims, their names etched into a wall near the police precinct. Families spoke of closure, but also of wounds that would never heal. The case raised haunting questions. Could police have stopped her sooner if they had connected the disappearances earlier? Were there more victims hidden, undiscovered in abandoned lots or rivers outside the city? Did Selena act entirely alone, or had she drawn someone else into her web? Detective Mitchell summed it up. People want answers, but sometimes there are none. Evil doesn't always explain itself. It just leaves scars. In the end, Selena Marquez became known as the deadliest serial killer in Brookdale's history. Not because of the sheer number of victims alone, but because she had managed to exist unnoticed for years, smiling at her neighbors while hiding bodies in plain sight. And as the years passed, the question still echoed: how many more are out there, smiling in silence, waiting for their chance? Do you think justice was truly served in Selena's case? Could more lives have been saved if the system had acted sooner? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more true crime stories that reveal the darkest corners of the human mind.